What if the very thing you fear losing, love, safety, happiness, is the reason you keep pushing it away? What if self-sabotage isn't failure, but your mind's way of protecting you from a danger you don't even realize? What if the reason you keep ruining good things in your life isn't because you're weak or broken, but because those good things feel too unfamiliar to trust? What if you push people away, not because you don't want love, but because love feels like a language you never learned to speak or read? This isn't about failure or a lack of willpower. It's about the complex wiring deep within your mind. You are not broken. You are protecting something precious, something your conscious mind might not fully understand. And Sigmund Freud, despite his theories being over a century old, might be the unexpected guide to help us unravel this mystery. Why do we self-sabotage, especially when safety and love are right in front of us? At first glance, self-sabotage looks like failure or a personal flaw. You miss deadlines, cancel plans, push people away, or freeze when things start to go well. It feels frustrating, confusing, even humiliating. But beneath this surface, what if self-sabotage is really fear disguised as failure? Fear that safety is temporary. Fear that joy will be snatched away. Fear that if you open up fully, trust deeply, or let yourself rest, you will fall hard. So your unconscious mind, in a desperate attempt to protect you, steps in. It interrupts the flow of comfort and connection, making sure the good thing ends before it can be stolen or destroyed. This is not random. Freud called this phenomenon the repetition compulsion, a powerful unconscious drive within us to recreate old wounds and painful patterns simply because they feel familiar and therefore, in a paradoxical way, safe. Imagine this. You meet someone who treats you kindly, with respect and care. Your heart says, yes, this feels good. But your body tenses, your mind races with doubts, and suddenly you find a reason to pull away. Maybe it's a small fight, or a late reply that feels like rejection. You sabotage the connection, not because you want to be alone, but because safety feels like a trap. This is the repetition compulsion at work. Your mind replaying the script of past disappointments to avoid the unknown risk of true safety. Freud believed the mind repeats unresolved pain because it hasn't been fully seen, felt, or understood yet. It's not punishment. It's an unconscious attempt at problem solving. If chaos felt like home growing up, calm might feel alien. If criticism came before praise, success might trigger anxiety instead of joy. These behaviors, often labeled bad habits, are really survival codes written into your earliest experiences. They are hardwired to protect you from deeper harm you experienced, even if that harm no longer exists in your adult life. So when you sabotage love or peace, you're not afraid of love itself. You're afraid of what love reminds you of. Maybe it reminds you of neglect, of being let down, or rejection from your past. These memories linger in your unconscious like ghosts, shaping how you respond without your awareness. Think about the last time you ruined something good. Maybe it was a promising job opportunity, a relationship blossoming, or a personal goal you were close to achieving. What did it feel like in your body? Was there a knot of anxiety, a sense of dread? Were you suddenly overwhelmed by doubts about deserving success or happiness? These feelings aren't just random. They are echoes of early experiences where safety was fragile or conditional. The unconscious mind is like a locked attic full of memories and feelings you can't consciously access, but that still influences your actions and emotions every day. You don't choose to self-sabotage consciously. It chooses you from the shadows of that attic. Imagine setting fire to a bridge you want to cross simply because you're terrified of what's on the other side. Or flinching when kindness approaches because it doesn't match the harsh realities you're used to. Sometimes we ruin safe things because survival taught us that safe things don't last. The paradox of safety is that sometimes it scares us more than danger does because it feels so unfamiliar. Freud introduced the idea of defense mechanisms, psychological tools your ego uses to shield you from unbearable emotional pain. Denial, repression, projection, rationalization. These may sound clinical, but they are creative adaptations your mind uses to protect you. They helped you function when the truth of your feelings was too overwhelming. You built walls not because you are weak, but because no one taught you how to feel safe being vulnerable or open. The poet John Milton once wrote, and Freud echoed in his writings, that the mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. Your inner world's fortress is both your prison and your sanctuary. Here lies the paradox. You crave connection, but when someone sees your true self, you panic. You long for rest, but when life slows down, you sabotage it. Stillness can feel like the silence before a storm. It's not that you don't want peace, it's that your nervous system doesn't yet believe peace is real or permanent. This is why good things feel unsafe. Their unfamiliar safety triggers old fears buried deep inside you. Freud's theories, while groundbreaking, were not perfect and sometimes misunderstood. His emphasis on pathology occasionally overshadowed the compassionate understanding we now bring to psychology. Today, we reinterpret Freud's insights with kindness, seeing the unconscious mind not as a threat, but as a cry for help and understanding. Self-sabotage can be viewed as a misunderstood plea for safety, not a moral failing. Freud warned that unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Ignoring these emotions only gives them more power. Healing begins not by trying to fix what's wrong, but by understanding why the pattern began. What were you protecting? Who taught you that joy isn't safe? Who made you believe love must be earned, or worse, avoided? Self-sabotage isn't self-hate. It's self-preservation born from pain and fear. You're not lazy or careless. You're guarding a version of yourself that never got to rest or feel safe. The patterns you see in your life, the cycles of pushing away good things, aren't your enemy. They are your history, asking to be held and understood. You have the power to rewrite this script, slowly and gently. With curiosity instead of judgment, you can change the story your nervous system tells itself. Every time you choose not to sabotage, even once, you begin to reshape your inner world. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming someone safe inside your own skin. Here's the invitation. Notice your self-sabotage without blame. Watch the moment you want to pull away from a good thing and ask, what am I afraid of losing? What does this remind me of? Often, the fear is not about the present, but a shadow from the past. The moment you bring light to that shadow, it loses its power. In practical terms, this means starting small. It might be allowing yourself to feel joy in a moment without rushing to diminish it. It might be letting someone in without pushing them away. It might be sitting with discomfort rather than escaping it. These small steps, repeated over time, retrain your brain. They help you rewrite the unconscious narrative that safety is a threat. If this hits home, you're not falling short. You're holding on to something unspoken, and now is the time to listen. Subscribe to Metasilogue, where every video is a step towards self-awareness, and every short is a quiet reminder that healing begins with understanding. You're not falling apart. You're unfolding. And together, we'll keep exploring the story beneath your patterns, one gentle reflection at a time.